Well, the U.S. government has already told their employees that they're not allowed to download the app on their phone.
The car that gonna last like any other product that comes out of China? Is it just for
When I saw this, I'm like, okay, now I see why he said, let's invest.
Welcome to episode 2 of The Next Move. I'm your co-host, Keegan.
Sandeep?
And Raul. So, guys, the first topic that everybody wanted to talk about is Tesla's data licensing strategy.
Yes.
So I think
Yeah.
you picked this one out, Sandeep, correct?
Yeah. So, I've been saying this for a while that data gonna be a new currency. It's gonna be like people how they're, trade. There was how they trade carbon credit.
Okay.
So data is gonna be basically traded and gonna be sold. Who has the better data, and how they're using it, and how it's being transferred to different companies, and what value does it hold for different companies.
And what types of data do you think
Is
we're
it-
going to
is it-
see
you're
being
strictly-
collected?
you're-
So
Is it strictly about cars or right?
Oh no, it's gonna be cars. It is data on in the health department. Like basically all the hospitals, medical, and again cars. Yes, driving data,
Well,
and human behavior. So there's gonna be there's a different data that being collected, and whoever has the most data on us, basically how we shop, how we eat, what we do, where we go, and
there's also too biometric data that's
Yeah.
being collected. So now even when you go to the airport, I was just traveling 2 weeks ago. They took my ID, they scanned my face, they matched it with the ID that went through the scanner. I didn't even have to bring out my ticket to go onto the plane anymore. They just scan your face, you walk up to it, they
Oh,
already know it's
yeah.
you. So
Yeah.
your biometric data on top of that. But
Well,
or
I think too a lot of the the car data now is what
no,
we want
yeah,
to
but
focus
here,
on.
here's a
well,
like,
check this one out.
yeah.
I don't want to play the whole thing because it's like 4 minutes long, but I guess alluding to your point. Is the volume there? Can you turn up, Ace?
From their automakers. If they don't have it, they will be history. So here's
Let me restart this.
history and littered with the companies there that went bankrupt. Same thing will happen in the auto industry when dumb cars become fully smart cars, and when consumers recognize it and demand this technology from their automakers. If they don't have it, they will be history. And so here's Tesla giving everybody an opportunity to participate in this. They're basically saying, here is our operating system. Would you like to use it? Okay. Now, we're not privy to the discussions about FSD licensing. We don't know what Tesla is asking for, but my guess is that they're being pretty fair with these other companies. And my guess is that the issue is not price. The issue is the development that these other companies have to go through and the amount of money and time they have to spend to integrate that into their cars. And I think they're probably finding that with their supply networks, that may be a difficult thing to do, but they have to find a way to do it. Here's just the rough numbers behind all the charts for those that want to see the numbers.
So,
A lot of zeros.
yeah. So this is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
As in, Tesla is kind of ahead of the game, and then now everybody else is trying to catch up.
Right.
Tesla's trying to help out everybody, I guess. That's what it sounds like.
There's a reason there's about 50 million cameras on that thing. It's capturing data for every angle.
Yep. Well,
And-
and what was it? GM Cruise just, I believe, canceled some of their stuff. So you're going to see a lot of companies now who have spent a lot, billions, millions of dollars on this kind of stuff, and they're going to say, well, maybe we can purchase a lease from Tesla's FDS system and put it on our car.
Let me tell a little thing, taking a little detour of this, how data is working. So I was at one of the big box stores that checks your receipt at the door. So they check your receipt. That's the only way you can exit. They check every single receipt. I walked in, got my stuff, walked out, and I was pre-checked.
Already?
I was wondering how that's pre-checked. Then I was thinking, because our brains work. They're the reason we talk about this stuff. And I'm thinking is they basically giving me a social credit. They used my data that I never miscounted my item.
Oh, you know what? I was going to go there, but didn't know if I should. So China has a social credit score.
That's
now.
what I'm saying. So again, that's data.
Yeah.
That's data being used this time for benefit of me, but
Are
you know.
consumers going to want this data collection
don't-
on them, right? We already have it with social media companies. They have all
Yeah.
these data points on you to sell you
Well,
things.
think about it. And this is kind of the fear that I've been hearing a lot of people talk about, as in the fear is, like, for example, let's say I go to one site versus another and my social credit score goes down. It's kind of like your real credit score.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Best way of stating
credit
it.
card credit score.
And
yeah.
then because your social credit score is lower, then technically they can algorithm your phone to where you may get charged more on a flight, you may get charged more on a rental car, you may get charged less, or charge more insurance, charge less. So that's kind of to me, the big fear of this data collection software is that you're on a social credit score, and then that's kind of why we heard. That's why some of these other, well, I should say China, as in if they can kind of control that person, where they go and how they, I guess, flow through the country.
I think one of the biggest tests that we've seen with data is how was collected and so on was during COVID. I don't know how many of you had an option on your phone. I won't say the name. They give you a pop-up name or option saying, like, do you want to be tracked for closest, if you've been in contact with another, I don't know, COVID person
Yep.
or person.
And they do that all through your phone already. So
So that's what I'm saying is, like, I visited one of the countries and got a text later that you may want to get checked wherever you attended, and there were some COVID reports there, and you may want to get tested. And and then I kind of like they had this option: do I want to participate? Blah blah blah. Obviously, reasons I denied it, but but again, going back to Tesla, is that I've been saying for a while, it's not a car that you're buying. You're buying a data collection device from Elon LLC, and
Yeah.
and you're helping.
but
them.
now he's using that to literally
I
build
think
the
that was
technology
his
out
goal.
and then
I
sell
think
it.
I think it was a goal the entire time, because you know how many times he said that Tesla is not a car company.
Yeah.
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 He made that statement multiple times. Tesla is not a car company,
Yeah.
and it's still not a car company.
Yeah. It's kind of like the argument with McDonald's. Like, we're not really a restaurant, we're a real estate.
Real estate company. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Huh.
so yeah, that is something that's going to be used again for benefit for us, and then maybe against us, depending on what
That's
where
what
we
I
fall.
keep thinking. I mean, are the consumers going to want all this data collection and
I don't think
tracking
they have a
on
choice
them?
right now.
And we all sign up for it on our
That's
phones
kind
every
of the
single
thing.
time.
I don't think they have a
And-
choice.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably
honestly,
right.
it's-
Unless you want to go, you want to go in the Appalachian Mountains and give up everything and just start, where you have no connectivity with the world.
yeah.
I don't think you have a choice.
Or,
Probably
I mean,
right.
honestly, what country wouldn't adopt this?
It's been adapted in every
Well, I
single
know, I
country,
know.
even a third world country.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Even in countries like overseas, they're actually more on this. I mean, over here we still have freedom of speech and freedom, we to basically move around freely. Other countries, they track every message, everything that you say on social media. Next 10 minutes, you said something not that didn't set well with the government, and you have a police showing up at your door.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So data is the big. In my opinion, it's always been, and there's a race to it. Who has the most accurate data? And right now, at least in automotive, Tesla's leading, and I'm pretty sure there's other industries for.
Yeah, basically, you're alluding to a lot of other companies going to start adapting.
they already are.
Well, and Ford's already started saying, hey, you can use Tesla chargers now with our electric vehicles, right? I could see
Yeah.
Ford jumping on this instead of having to work and develop it on their own.
It's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier than them developing it. So
From a time perspective, savings, cost, I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
a no-brainer, you'd think.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I want to
What we
move
got?
on to the next topic, guys.
Yeah,
So
yes,
the
yes.
trade war in manufacturing automation. So
Semiconductors and pharmaceuticals to return production
start
of
this.
these essential goods. Particularly in the very near future, we're going to be placing tariffs on foreign production of computer chips, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals to return production of these essential goods to the United States of America. They left us and they went to Taiwan, which is about 98% of the chip business, by the way. And we want them to come back, and we don't want to give them billions of dollars like this ridiculous program that Biden has. Give everybody billions of dollars. They already have billions of dollars. They've got nothing but money, Joe. They didn't need money. They needed an incentive, and the incentive is going to be they're not going to want to pay at 25, 50, or even 100% tax. They're going to build their factory with their own money. We don't have to give them money. They're going to come in because it's good for them to come in. They're
I'm just
giving them
going
money.
to cut it right there. Pretty
Yeah.
much we get the idea.
But we got the idea, like the gif of it.
Well, and I heard they're going to be building the manufacturing here in the state of Michigan for some of these chip manufacturers.
So out of big three, GM been pushing. They went from crew of 5 to few hundred in this department, semiconductors.
Really?
Yes, within the last couple of years. And I have contacts who are there, some family members actually, and they went from 5 to 10 people. It started a few years back, and now there's about a couple of hundred in this department, and they're continuously trying to develop, and they're getting a lot of funding from government as well to push that. So as long, I guess, the funding is keep on coming and they're they're making progress, I think it will or it'll have to happen.
Well, here's something I found. I thought this was very interesting. So obviously, trade war, bringing in products from other countries.
Right.
I never really knew this, like as in what states, like kind of dominatory.
Very
as in-
interesting.
So, like example, Texas, they're 40% looks like from Mexico. Michigan, we're at 44%.
So
Like I never knew it was.
And
that
we're one of the
high.
only northern states
so
too.
so
Well, the rest are
with-
from Canada.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
But
kinda
here's the thing, right?
interesting.
In the reason Michigan, I think, is 44% because we have an auto industry and food.
Well,
Because of winter weather, all the greens that coming right now, where do you
Well-
think they're coming from?
well, I'm going to guess you say counter argument.
Yeah.
So obviously, back in the 70s and 80s, I mean, honestly, this was heavy automotive.
Yeah, it
Right.
was.
And then a lot of those factories got moved to Mexico. They do the same stuff, and now they're shipping it back up to Michigan. So I can see why that number is so
the
high
parts,
now.
basically a lot of part
suppliers.
suppliers
Okay,
for
yep.
for the auto industry is in Mexico, and they're providing all those parts to be assembled. I guess
That makes sense. I have done contract work in Mexico for
Yeah.
tier
Well,
suppliers that ship stuff back up here.
I don't know about you guys, but I worked for what was it, Hariba. It needs to be called Shank Pegasus, and they were, they said they used to have like all kinds of companies around them, be able to, grab where material, whatnot. And now that everything's kind of left, at least that's what the older guys are telling me, everybody kind of left and they have to go other places. And then I think like one of the big things, like gearboxes, for example, that really isn't heavily made here. Like you have to go other places to get it. There's very few people who are experts in how to design
Gear
and build it.
manufacturing.
Yeah, the gearbox side of it.
And
Didn't know that.
that's interesting because there's so many engineers here in the state of Michigan. We're still number one in
Yeah.
the country for engineering. We have more engineers here than any other state, which is probably a lot of automotive and manufacturing. So I'm surprised that they can't figure out how to make gears here.
Well, it's about, I think, having the shops available. Like there were so many shops back in the day, and now, and then a lot of the older guys talk about, they're making a lot of the same mistakes they made. As in, I have a friend named Jim who done a lot of filtration for years, and he goes, I'm sitting in this room with all these guys, young bucks, and they're like, hey, we should try this, we should try that, we should try this, and he's looking at their designs, and he's like, that won't work, that won't work, that won't work, and they're like, well, why? And the guy's in his 70s, so he's like, I tried it, it didn't work. I tried that didn't work. I tried that didn't work. That's why it won't work.
Right. So there, every time there's a changes made to any part of the project or product, there are some neons, that will come to basically challenges that they won't predict. They won't be able to predict if there's not experienced people that tagged along with the young guys, because young guys they don't know what already been been certain change that have been implemented and
Sure.
what challenges came out of it. So you don't want to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, you're right. But unfortunately, it's kind of like I'm going to compare it to sports, like NBA. They talk about how the older guys talk about how there was a lot of vets on the team, and now there isn't that many. I feel like we're in the same role in the engineering field. Like there's not enough older people to.
See,
Well, they're getting all the buyout packages or retiring, and
Yeah,
companies are
to be
losing
able to-
hundreds and hundreds of years of experience, and then these younger guys are coming in and gals, and then you're sitting there also, and here's where AI is going to start ramping up production again, though, in my opinion, because all these designs that maybe didn't work that they may have tried, they can only make or manufacture one or two a week, a year, whatever that may be. Well, now with the new technology, we're going to be able to do simulations. I mean, you talk about, for example, different, just building products. My wife's a designer. It takes their team sometimes months and months to design certain things
Right.
themselves. If they start using these AI tools, they could make thousands of pieces and parts in minutes. Whereas, I mean,
It
Right.
shortens
It's
that
going to-
time frame down.
so
yeah.
So
yeah.
going back to the data collection, right? Now, all the experience that's person who've been in the industry for 30, 40 years, what they tested and so on, if that data is properly embedded in where young guys can reference back to, that would be a great way to overcome this gap that's being created, because I would say purely lack of experience. Not in like, it's not saying that these guys they're not smart. These guys are they're inventing AI. They're doing next generation is, so they're smart, but it's just a lack of experience was neons that
But it
you know-
also, you also have the classic crap data in, crap data out, right? So if they
Right.
also don't understand and have the history and knowledge of some of these older workers that are leaving the industry now, it's
Well, I know we went kind of off topic, so I'm curious about you guys kind of get back to this as in the trade side of it. Now with these tariffs coming in affecting the industries, how do you guys see it, I guess, progressing in that direction?
companies have to get efficient. Companies that are here, they have to follow the lean strategy and they have to be lean at every, not just financially, not just how they're making product, on the floor, on the way they're designing, how, they have to implement basically lean strategies every single move they make.
Well,
and to do that, they have to automate.
Yep, and I think too is part of that is then recycling, right? So as they get scrap, as they get bad parts, it's okay, how can we take this back apart and reuse it, put it back in? Whereas I remember 15, 20 years ago, first time I'd be on the floor, I went to one facility here in the Metro Detroit area. I mean, we were scrapping 60% of the parts and they just throw them out.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I can see companies saying, whoa, let's see how we can cut this back up, reuse certain pieces and parts, and try again, right? So I think you're going to see a lot of recycling, reusing. Almost all vehicles that are manufactured now have to be recyclable, right? They have to be able to take everything back apart. Can we break everything back down and then reuse it, right?
Didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because, you want to, it's kind of like putting a line together. You want to make it adaptable for other parts,
Yeah.
If you got, because you're going to have like, quote unquote, change order, you're going to have model differences and you got to make the line to be able to be flexible.
Yeah, and you see
So-
multiple facilities now running multiple vehicles styles on one assembly line, right?
Yeah, and that's the way it should be done. Or you can use, maybe one type of panel, like on 4 or 5 different models. I know one of
Yep.
I don't know if you guys remember this. They don't do this anymore, but like on the cars, you obviously have the windows buttons on the left-hand side. In some countries, obviously, it's on the right-hand side. And then
In the middle console.
yeah, so that's why you saw some companies. It was, I would say, in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. I don't see that anymore, but they had the windows in the center.
Yeah, I kinda
to-
remember
I've
that,
seen in a
yeah.
couple of cars. I can't remember because I drove a few rental.
Yeah,
And they were in the middle.
yeah, that was
I
to
think it
save
was
money.
a Vans or something in that. I wasn't sure what model. I drew a few rentals. I'm not sure which one, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's to Keegan's point, it's that's a great idea. To be honest with you, I like it to be able to
so
make
so,
it adaptable.
So the other thing just came to me right now is maybe standardizing some of those designs between different car, like entire car industry,
Yeah.
where if your window going up and down switch looks like one, and this should be pretty much in every model or every car industry, like in basically
Well,
all the cars. I'm just
The
saying.
problem is they do change over and roll over too much, and they keep so much of the same stuff already in the next model. So you'll see, like a version 6 Camaro and a version 7 Camaro really aren't that different, right?
Yeah,
so they're
but
just
I'm
kind of
talking
rolling
about like
so much
I'm
stuff.
talking about like what switch looks like in a Camaro and what looks like in their Silverado truck.
Yeah.
So like maybe standardizing those things where it will be more efficient and lean way to handle those parts. So
And we all know at the end of the day, if there is leftover, it just gets passed on to the consumer. I mean, right? They can only
right.
cut out 5% and tariffs 10%. That 5% is going to trickle down eventually to somebody, right?
Right, and the other thing is consumers ready to pay that? If they're not, then is our dealerships they're gonna be, or is dealership model gonna go away to come up?
Like Tesla.
Yeah, like Tesla. So so there's a lot of questions, and I think we have to give it 6 months to a year to really find out what the result's gonna be.
Well, you know what? I think we obviously I'd like to move on to the next
Right, right.
topic. So
Definitely.
Yeah.
now the AI war. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure everybody's talking about it the past 2
equivalent.
weeks.
I've been saying it's a new AI Cold War, basically.
Well, let's check this out. This one, get it back to the beginning.
Do you think that this will be a moment in the history of AI and the history of tech that people remember for a long time?
This week, DeepSeek became the #1 downloaded app in a lot of app stores globally. I think this is a moment of reckoning, not just for the tech and business world, but for a regular person. that just focus on their daily life and care about the stock market, to rethink, like maybe the U.S. should not be taking its technology leadership for granted, and maybe OpenAI is not the only way to go when we look for AI agent to assist us, and China also become a force to be reckoned with.
Well, the U.S. government has already told their employees that they're not allowed to download the app on their phone.
I mean, their employees.
Yeah, the federal
Yeah.
employees cannot download the app on
I
their
haven't
phone. So if you
downloaded it
thought
yet.
TikTok was bad, wait till you look at the terms of service of this. So apparently, even after you delete the thing, it still keeps all your data. It still has everything. There's,
Yeah.
so if whoever was worried about the TikTok ban and all that stuff that's going on currently,
That
wait
is-
till you look
that-
behind the curtain here.
Yeah, that is my biggest concern as well. With
And you want to
this.
talk about data collection.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
again, Facebook probably all does the same stuff. Instagram does all the same stuff. But we
they
have
can
certain
still go in
rules
front of the
here.
Congress and they have to
We
answer.
still- yeah, we
they
still
have
have
to
certain rules
answer
here.
answer to U.S. government.
Yeah, so this-
with this, who to answer? Like who you gonna ask questions, right? So I think is with this AI, that like alluding to your you saying like how they still gonna keep the data, and how many emails people like me, I mentioned last episode. I have AI rewrite my emails.
Mm-hmm.
So are they gonna keep my email data that I'm rewriting?
or your
so
connections,
my
right?
connections,
your email
my-
list,
my email
your
list, my-
photos, your calls.
And maybe I'm rewriting a presentation to pitch some investor my new idea, and they're taking that data and they're like, oh, we can build it faster than this guy.
Well, there's that portion of it.
Maybe
but
we're too cynical.
But
I don't know. I don't know. So-
there's another portion to it is that DeepSeek versus ChatGPT. Now I've messed with both. DeepSeek is really good.
Really?
Like, I was very surprised how much faster it was. Not when I say that, getting to the end result that I was looking for, it actually writes more human than ChatGPT. It takes about 3 or 4 iterations for me to, I guess you say, where I'm like, okay, I like this. DeepSeek was just like that,
Instantly.
instant, and I was like, no wonder they're scared of this thing. From a technology perspective.
But what else are they using this for? right?
That's why I say technology perspective. To me, that's the other half of the argument. The half I'm referring to is that the technology is very sound and it's very scary
yeah.
from how good it is. And I don't know if you picked up on it. I guess as soon as DeepSeek went out, all the stocks went down and
Yes, they
everything
did.
went down for
Right.
For a couple days, I
So-
think the
Yeah.
whole stock market took a tumble.
So like our model been in U.S. is, I don't know, and you probably heard of in the World Wars where they said, German had 1 tank and or Russia or whoever, they had a 1 tank and we had 20.
Mm-hmm.
Our technology wasn't the greatest, but we just had so many tanks that
So many more, yeah.
so many more.
Could produce them faster.
But produce them faster. So I don't think that model gonna work with this. We need to bring a quality. We
But
can't
that's
just.
the problem. He's saying the quality is
That's what I'm
there.
saying. That's what I'm saying. We need to bring. I'm pretty sure if we are talking about it at this level, and there's some big talks going on
Well,
somewhere that's probably coming out with maybe next Open USA something.
Well, to your point, I was kind of surprised. I thought I heard that a lot of investors were kind of cutting back as soon as DeepSeek came out. Like as a,
yeah, with OpenAI.
yeah,
You're talking about,
like
yeah.
they cut a lot of investing, and as soon as this came out, and maybe they're trying to do a reset and try to figure out how do we either meet or exceed
Yeah,
this.
catch up.
So and on that note, I get you like private investors maybe putting a step back a little bit. But internet was invented by government. Phone system pretty much invented by government, if you think about it. So a lot of things that we enjoy today was once was invented by, funded by 100% by government for government use. So I think AI gonna take that route if the tech guys in right
Well,
now
I'm- I'm wondering, are you alluding to that it's already done?
I'm just saying. There's a possibility that you see new something just coming out that will be like, oh yeah, this is way
Oh,
better
this is
than
way better. Like
way better. It's-
like we got something hidden right here. Like, bah.
yeah. So I don't know. It could happen.
Well, and you got to remember too, a lot of the stuff that they're working on from a government perspective, we're never going to know about for many, many years, anyways.
That
'Cause
may change if they want to win the
'cause
race.
look, I mean, you think about it too.
I hate to say it because if everybody, well, think about something. Actually, there's two things. So one, I thought I had it, but I don't. So I saw a gentleman on one of the X clips where he was actually forcing data, trying to see where the data was going, and no matter what he did, it kept going to China. To your guys'
really?
point, yeah. No matter what he tried, and then this is so out there. Like,
Yeah.
God
So
damn.
I think like yes, we're thinking like that government may keep it themselves, but I don't think at this point, I think it'd be beneficial for the government to introduce something that everybody will hook on to. Like here we're like Android version versus Apple version, right? And
I guess that's kind of where I'm at too. I'm like, what truly is the difference between the two, right? To me, they both look like phones,
Right.
And
Is-
whichever phone is
so-
your preference.
Well, so what they sold us on is, security is better on Apple. That's what we are sold on, right?
Yeah.
It's not. Somebody has to really go deep investigation and dig in and find out. But to the looks of it, to the feeling they put out, that it is better. Android is more open market where somebody makes an app. The first version they make is Android because there's less scrutiny to how you can upload an app. And I developed apps before with a team, and to upload an app on Apple, it takes a minute, goes through a lot of scrutiny, goes through a lot of checks to be upload an app on Apple than Android. Android is like within 24 hours your app is up.
You're good to go.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
good-
you mean going through like the approval phase? Of it?
Approval phase.
Security approval.
Security. So that's what I'm
Checks.
saying. If US comes out with some AI version of it where it says this is America AI, and so now this is more secure and your data is staying in US, and
Yeah.
your servers are in Nevada or somewhere, and they're just
Yeah.
so that factor, I think, it will attract more countries. It'll be appealing to more different countries to use that compared to deep sea.
Well, I'm glad you're saying that because that's pretty much our next topic. So,
Okay.
So the
Let's
funding
see it.
for innovation. So.
This historic investment is a monumental demonstration of confidence in America's future, and it will help ensure that artificial intelligence, emerging technologies, and other industries of tomorrow are built, created, and grown right here in the USA. And one of the beautiful things about Masa is he's very much involved with emerging technology, probably knows it maybe better than almost anybody. So it's a great honor. And some of you remember after the 2016 election, also SoftBank committed to invest $50 million in our country, and they did.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to say that they kept that promise in every way, shape, and form, and now they're looking to do 100, and I've looked at their books there. They do have the possibility of doing more. I'm going to ask them to do a little bit more, but this is
I was going to say, is that when he asked him to do 100 and he said, do 200 for me?
Well,
200 billion or something.
Yeah.
you know, when-
and now they're doing it?
Well, the catch is for me, and I want to How should I put this? The catch is for me is that when Trump said this about investing in new technology, I'm like, why is he saying this? Like, I understand why he's saying it, but I'm like, is there something? Is there a little catch to it? And then I want to share 2 videos with you guys. So this is what I'm like, holy crap, the technology in China is crazy. So here's the car.
This is an actual car.
Imagine
Yes.
driving a luxury SUV that feels like stepping into the future. Meet the 80M9, engineered by Huawei. Let's start with one of the most advanced auto parking.
Now,
Just a simple touch and slide on the control screen. The car can park itself.
And this is not even, how should I put this? This is not even the best part.
In a car
is it?
Just a
Yeah,
simple
wow.
touch and slide on the control screen. The car can
And-
park itself.
Here we go.
真的有被吓到。
It takes convenience to a whole new level, making parallel parking a breeze, even in the tightest spots. But that's not all. Picture this. You're waiting for someone, and you're in the middle of nowhere. What could possibly make this moment more cinematic? How about the M9's onboard projector that turns your car into a large cinema? You can literally watch your favorite movies from the comfort of
And
your
that's a
vehicle,
car, right?
transforming your road.
This is a
Just
car.
making sure that's a
they
car.
actually sell this vehicle.
Now,
This is what they
let's
don't
talk
want.
about what truly feels like magic.
Batman.
The M9 can drive itself to you without a
Oh.
driver. Yes, you heard that right. Using just your phone, the car will navigate from the parking lot and meet you at the entrance, all by itself. You don't have to search for it, walk through a hot parking lot, or scramble
Isn't
to remember
Tesla
where
doing
you
something
parked.
Tesla
similar?
doing
This
that
is
too.
autonomous
Yeah.
driving,
Yeah.
taken to
Yeah.
a whole new level. And it's
But
perfect
this is
for
like-
those days when you're running late or just don't
Oh, wow.
want to deal with parking hassles. And these
That's
are just the
incredible.
tip of the
Tesla
iceberg.
has some of this stuff.
The 80M9 comes packed with more features that make it stand out in the luxury SUV market. The massive 630 kilometers range on its fully electric version means long road trips without worrying about charging. If you opt for the range extended version, you get up to 1,210 kilometers, more than enough for a cross-country adventure. The interior is just as impressive.
That range is insane.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm going to stop right here because
Yeah.
it keeps buffering. But what do you guys think of that?
I mean, go ahead.
It's not
Go
even
ahead.
everything.
So I get it, but I'm maybe too not sold on the video kind of guy. I mean, I get the like, you know, they're advertising this.
Well, what
is
I'm-
it? Is it a car? Sorry, is it a car that gonna last like any other product that comes out of China? Is it just for yes, those screens and everything gonna work for
20 years.
I don't know, five days or a year, and reliability of all the functions they have in there. You know, I'm just
Once the Chinese cars start hitting the roads here, we're in trouble.
Well,
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
It's going to be a
It's-
complete
it's
game changer.
like-
If I can buy that for a third or a quarter of the cost,
You know how much
of-
that car is worth?
Are we going to play the guessing game here? 20 grand.
About that.
20 grand, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that vehicle is $100,000 here.
Yeah,
So we're
exactly.
talking
120 here,
More.
more.
or more, yeah,
More.
sure.
Right.
I mean, basically somebody buys a car here for $100,000 and spends another 30 to 50 grand to get all those customizations done
Functions.
to it.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
incredible.
Well,
I mean, and how can these companies compete with that?
well, that's what I mean.
It's
That's
gonna be
I
game
can see
over.
why he said what he said, and then I saw this. I don't know if you guys seen this one. This is actually, to me, the craziest one of all. Let me blow this one up.
Holy shit. Can you believe this? China has constructed the world's longest sea-crossing bridge, the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, spanning a remarkable 55 kilometers and connecting 3 major cities. This modern marvel of engineering required a staggering $18.8 billion investment and features a 6.7-kilometer underwater tunnel, showcasing remarkable construction techniques. Travel time between these cities has been dramatically reduced from 4 hours to just 30 minutes, thanks to this monumental project. With 400,000 tons of steel used in its construction, this bridge could have built 60 Eiffel Towers. Impressively, the bridge is designed to withstand 8.0 magnitude earthquakes, 16-level typhoons, and a once in 300 years flood, ensuring its long-term safety and reliability. Recognized as one of the 7 wonders of the modern world,
cool.
this bridge stands as a testament to China's engineering prowess and
小红书，小红书。
So
Shaohushu.
So I don't know. I mean, I would say that's probably the put a big old steel sign on it saying steel being used is U.S. steel.
Yeah.
Just real quick though, what was the cost? That 8 billion or
Billion.
8
Billion.
18?
No, 8.
No.
Because just to put, if that's 8 billion, just to
Yeah.
put this in perspective, the new Gordie Howe Bridge in Detroit is like 6 million, and that only expands a quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
This thing is 55 kilometers.
Yeah. And what I could now, when I saw this, I'm like, okay, now I see why he said, let's invest, let's, put stuff back in our country. I'm seeing something like that. Like, we could be doing stuff like that.
So
here.
our infrastructure is definitely it's in a bad shape right
It
now.
hasn't been touched since the
It's-
50s.
And I mean, driving here, I seen pieces of bridges missing,
Yep.
like concrete missing.
Yep.
So that fell on somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
Could have, yeah.
I mean, not on the cars yet, but I mean, it probably fell on the ground and somebody ran over it or something, because there are literally pieces of bridges missing, and we're driving underneath them.
Oh, yeah.
So that is definitely that the one area that we need pay attention to.
But how do you guys see any automation / AI being used to help build our
There-
infrastructure better? What's the thought there?
There's a few years back, I seen self-curing concrete. So basically, it repairs itself, and that was being developed. So I wonder if next repair or next boom that we get in the infrastructure, maybe that's the way we maybe
'Cause
get some good jobs here.
Every time you hear AI, right, everyone's always talking about it's going to take jobs and this and that, but it's not going to be touching. We always like to think maybe it won't be touching manufacturing jobs for many years, but construction, hands-on, electrical, plumbing, that kind of stuff. And then you see, okay, all this,
Well,
infrastructure.
I mean, to me,
and-
this wasn't developed. This wasn't done by AI. It may be
right.
used
But
to
that's what
help.
I'm saying. Is it that to me is going to be something that is there some way that helps develop these
Maybe
new
it
products
speed up
or
the process,
tools, or
maybe it speed up the
develop
process.
better roads, right?
Yeah.
Can it help us develop better roads that we don't need as
yeah.
much concrete or as thick that can handle a Michigan winter?
So,
Because you
give
go
you
down
an
to Florida,
example.
their roads are beautiful.
Yeah, give you an example. There was the construction project, basically MDOT construction project over by Kalamazoo. They had to tear down and rebuild because of wrong calculations. Things, it costed money somewhere, right? It costed
that-
money to the whole state.
I'm sure millions of dollars were lost there.
And to your point, where you said that can AI make us better decision making? Maybe AI can faster
Be able to design a bridge better. right?
bridge better, or make it the whole process faster. Instead of spending 5 years planning and then another 5 years building.
Out of curiosity, do the states approve these bridges, or how's that work? I don't even know.
I'm not
I
sure
would
how it
assume
works,
the
but
Michigan
I think
Department of Transportation, MDOT.
and then there's some highway authority that approves them, and
And
but-
especially, I'm sure if there's some coordination too, if it's a
I think there's a-
interstate, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have
I mean,
federal.
there's
approval.
a federal, state,
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
The combination of both two, but beside the point is when we're
mean-
competing with that.
Well, what I'm alluding to is that obviously this cost $8 billion. This is,
If
freaking
it's only
beautiful.
8, that's insane.
Yeah.
Because, like
Are
I
you
said,
sure
literally,
it said 8?
Yeah, it said 8.
was it 8 or 18. Even if it was 18.
I'm thinking more like 88, but yeah.
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 You got to think about the currency. You got to bridge.
Yeah,
I'm like 88 billion. That's what I'm thinking.
that
but-
would maybe make more sense to me. But even then, for us, I mean, you figure, like I said, it's what? How long is that bridge? Not even half a mile, quarter mile, maybe across the Detroit River there, and that costs $6
It's still
billion,
not done.
and it's still not done, and it got extended another year. It won't be done until next year now.
That would have been added about 5-6 years now.
I hate to say it. I don't know what the difference is between like construction here versus like when I used to live in North Carolina. I seen in North Carolina them knock down a Wendy's like completely to the ground. It was nothing but dirt, and then rebuild it in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference between a private and a government job.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Private, you pulled a permit, you got your own insurance, you're reliable.
Green light.
You're green light, go, get it done.
Yeah.
Well,
Government-
maybe part of the problem too with the Gordie Howe Bridge is right. It's international as well.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
so you
then
got business. You got business. You got
You're dealing with a
government,
Canadian
and
government.
you got two different
Canadian government.
Yeah,
That's
two
even
different
worse.
governments. Then also having to work together.
So in my opinion, I think it's basically between the governments. When the government get it, what was that? There was about a $5 million bathroom they put in a park,
Yeah.
Central Park in New York or something like that.
San Francisco, I think.
Oh, somewhere. It's one of those places, and the reason it was because the suppliers of whoever's
Mm-hmm.
going to build it, they have to meet the criteria of, what kind of the workforce looks like and how much they're paying their workforce, and then the vendors, what their workforce look like, and X, Y, and Z. And I think all this hinders the progress that we are in China. Basically, they're saying, government says, I need this bridge. And the government is the private contractor,
Yeah.
So, and over here we are I think, bogged down by a lot of pencil pushers, basically.
Yeah, and this is kind of the stuff I think to alluding to what we were discussing as in, the technology. This is kind of what's there. I don't know if you guys seen this yet.
I've seen it once, I think.
Imagine walking into a hospital where the future is not just a vision, but a reality above your head. Sleek, silent machines glide along tracks. Like something
this
out of
documentation they're
sci-fi movie. Patients and visitors
sending back and forth their
As
medications.
these devices move with precision, weaving through the corridors. Their destination? Welcome to the world of smart hospitals in China. These machines are automatic medication delivery systems tirelessly working to ensure life-saving medicine and medical supplies reach their destinations with unmatched speed and accuracy from the pharmacy to the nurse stations and even directly to patient wards. This seamless operation eliminates human error and frees up medical staff to focus on patient care, its efficiency in motion. A perfect blend of technology and compassion, and just one example of how innovation
AMR.
is transforming healthcare as we know it. These systems operate 24/7, tirelessly connecting different departments, ensuring no time is wasted when it matters most.
Yeah, and those AMRs, if you scrolled back there, those AMRs, I don't know why more hospitals aren't doing things like that. Either transporting people
Right.
or transporting.
Material around.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
It's a good, clean
there's a one
environment.
video I've seen here, not to that level, but they have a nurse in a room, basically a robot. It's I don't know, they called it Nurse Judy or somebody, and it's a camera that's basically monitoring patient while nurse is not there. So as nurse comes in, and basically the robot is telling them like, hey, so patient got up, blah blah blah, patient did this,
But also doing diagnostics like blood pressure's fine.
Yeah.
All heart
this.
rate's good.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, and this is kind of what you're, I guess the next couple of videos I have is the point we've been talking about is that, we need to automate as a country with us being close, and this is a good example of this.
And here's the other thing, right? All this automation talk, and when people say, oh, this is going to take the jobs. But here's the thing. We don't have people right now working in those jobs.
Well, and this alluding to the point of the video is that it actually frees them up.
Frees them up more. Yeah, I was gonna
They're
say,
more
definitely.
efficient.
Yeah.
You're providing a better care. You're providing care efficiently, and you don't have people waiting in your emergency for 4 hours.
Yeah, as you're talking to a patient, you just type in what you need and hit enter,
Yeah.
and then it comes in.
Yeah.
and then
So you don't have to
And
walk
then
down
get
there, go
lost
grab it,
on the
come
way.
get back.
I mean, I'm not
Yep.
saying it happens that often, but and misdiagnosed and
or maybe not lost, right? But distracted, right? Someone,
Yeah.
you have to go to the bathroom, or it's lunch break, or someone has to do something else, or a shift change, or something.
Yep.
Yeah, and errors happen. Errors happen, and because we're all humans, errors happen, and those places, I think automation is beneficial, and it will bring changes. And I think we alluded to last time is like where next generations, we're just as a population, we're not producing what our parents and grandparents did. So, our next generations, so there's going to be less population, but there's still the population that need to be taken care of.
Yeah.
So, automation is definitely something that need to be, considered.
Well, this is kind of crazy. All this, how far their advancements are there?
Again in China.
Yeah.
Jeez.
小红书，
I mean, it's
I
freaking. nuts.
also sometimes, I mean, maybe it's cynical of me, wonder how much of this is show that we see online on some of these, because some of this technology is pretty amazing. It's well farther advanced than what I'd say we probably are for most
what
companies
have you seen
here.
so far?
And,
Right.
And you look at some of these videos sometimes, and I'm just wondering if some of these are
Gimmicks.
maybe not doctored, but you know what I
Well-
mean, like altered slightly to make them look like they're more advanced, right? Because there is
You mean
some,
like more Hollywood?
yeah, there
Yeah.
is
They're
some
Hollywooded.
play here where it's like, hey, we have better technology than you, and we do the same thing, right? I mean, everyone's had the big boss man come in, and you got to get your demo ready, and it's not fully ready, and you kind of just work
Yeah.
through it. And you've actually seen some of these get called out from some of the humanoid demonstrations that I think even Tesla's done, or some of the other companies where they have the humanoid robot. They'll show you the video online, and you're sitting there going, oh, that looks great. But the real video is actually 2.5 times or 3 times slower doing a simple task. But they showed the video of it, so it looks like it's sped up, right?
Yep.
And it looks like it's at normal speed of like a human moving, but they're not. So I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if there is some play here in some of these videos like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are. I don't think they're like, how should I put this, crazy great, but they have it. I don't recall seeing this here yet, unless I'm mistaken.
I think over here we're more into see the most of the things you see there is they're more catered towards taking care of people. I mean, the reason you need human looking humanoids is to taking care of people. They're aging. The generation over there is aging.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So
Yep.
generation
You're right.
over there is aging, and to take care of that aging generation, because of one family, one kid policy that China had.
Yeah.
Now all those kids are getting to a generation aging, so they need robots to eventually take care of them, because there's a less and less people who are gonna be taking care of them. In U.S., we have other facilities that's designed to do that at this point. But what I'm alluding to is that eventually it will happen here. But at this point, it will take about 5-10 years. That's what my predictions is. But yeah.
I think they're, well, I hate to say it, I think they're about the same time frame. As in, you're right, they're going to lose a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and their population is going to shrink in a bit here. And so, yeah, I I guess you're saying, alluding to your point, they're going to have to.
They have to basically they have to replace certain services to automation or the robots to basically to stay at a normal, not even advanced, just to keep up the pace
Yep.
of aging generation of taking care of it. So it's not even it's not like they're gonna get ahead of the curve, but it's just gonna be just to keep the pace. They have to automate a lot of those things. That's why the hospitals and X, Y, and Z.
Well,
all of that.
I got a question for you then. So this is not the only country that's going through that. Obviously, the numbers are much bigger as in the loss.
Right.
But other countries are going to go through the same thing, including
Many countries throughout the EU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so are they going to follow this example?
Future, they almost have to. The thing is, right now, let's say, while driving here, I was just thinking, I'm like, people who live or whose parents or spouses and so on live, they have to be alone X point, because the other spouse or significant other is traveling. And we're, we get companions, dogs, pets, but what if there's an emergency, right? What are there? I seen those little emblem things, and not everybody's sold on those. So I was just thinking, like, the next boom gonna be our household robots for basically to monitor and to keep, our family
So
members.
like the iRobot movie had
I was going to say, there's lots of good movies on this, and most of them I've seen do not end well.
Well,
that's just for Hollywood expense.
Yeah, well, they gotta sell the movie, right?
I'm just saying. It's a recurring theme.
I get it. Most what they say, scary movies kind of start like that.
Skynet.
Yeah, Skynet. Yeah.
But I think that's alluding to that video. There's a reason they're making those more consumer facing, or more friendly, or whatever you want to call
makes
it.
Sense.
Is for that reason, for companionship, and I think that's gonna happen, and more people are gonna be actually open to it.
Yeah.
Somebody may raise the current concern on privacy. If you have a smartphone at this point, you don't have a privacy. I don't care what you what you make believe yourself.
It's the same thing we talked about before, right? If you think this DeepSeek AI on your phone is bad now, in 10, 20 years, we're all just going to be so used to it, won't even matter.
Yeah. It's like the next big thing, and then somebody else could come up with something better and better.
That's what I'm saying. It just keeps progressing. And
to be perfectly honest with you, going back to the DeepSeek discussion, I never would have thought it would have happened this fast, as in how good it is technology-wise.
That's what we alluded to last episode, was it may take 10 years. May come in next month.
Yeah.
So it's any point, any conversation we having, where may like to think that may happen, take 5 years, 10 years. It may just next week we probably doing an episode on it. Or next month, whatever. It's we don't know.
Well, then I'm going to go back to that the car one I showed you from China. So if that technology was inside a traditional car with a combustion engine, how would you feel about it then?
To me, that's too much technology.
It is too much technology.
It's way overwhelming. Again, that's my personal.
You look at this. You look at the Cybertruck. The things that can do is unlike any other vehicle. It's got a bullhorn on it. You can literally talk to people outside. It's got the cameras. It's got video games. It's got, you can park with it. I mean, it's almost the same thing, but again, $100,000 more expensive.
Yeah.
So, we're very similar in some aspects, but I think overall our technology here in the States is probably a little bit further behind right now than China. But I could see us taking that back over. I mean, now we're basically also getting government funded manufacturing and AI research. That
Yeah.
Innovation
we
is-
see is supposed to be happening here in this state alone.
Yeah, I can see in 3 or 4 years we're
Yeah.
on par or better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just,
It's just
longevity.
happening so quick.
Yeah.
The things are moving so fast. And I used to say that, by the time you buy any technology in these stores, you basically loaded that technology up. It could be a TV, it could be anything. You loaded that in your car. By that time, there's a new version of it already going on the shelf.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so I mean, that's moving so fast. And now this whole, I call it transformer technology
Yeah.
that is coming out, and that somebody alluded to back when, saying like they found a transformer in Arctic or something, or Antarctica or something, and that's where they're getting all this technology from. And I almost want to believe it now.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean, I when you can explain it, right? How fast this technology moves, then you want to believe those things.
yeah. I mean, it's a race. I mean, honestly, I'm seeing it now, as in the technology. We're in a race to see who's going to be top dog, and
Oh yeah,
it's a good race.
It's I think I alluded to earlier, like basically it was that, I think it's equivalent to Cold War. How basically countries were trying to get the smartest way, or
Become the most efficient.
more efficient, and how they can spy on each other, and how they can make each other look.
But I think this is a great point. It shows that this technology could be used for extremely good things
Oh,
in
yeah.
the world coming together and helping with food and helping with elderly parents and helping with growing
Definitely.
and building things, or it could be used in extremely bad ways.
Yeah.
Like we've
Controlling
seen
people.
with controlling people, with
Taking freedoms away.
weapons and different technologies to control the masses, right?
And pushing certain videos your direction.
Yeah, and that's already happening, right? You watch one video or one post about something, and all of a sudden, you see 20 million things pushed towards you, catered that way. And I usually say is like, if you can find something and you think, or you want to research something, just start talking right next to your phone, and it'll give you all different ideas.
Yep.
In about 5 minutes, it give you where to eat, what to eat, and where you can order. Basically, online you can order recipes, and where you can get everything. So
So hold on, let me see. I would like some pizza later.
Yeah, there you go.
well, your coupons are on the way.
Domino's is. Oh, there you go. Your phone's already turned on. Domino's.
I was gonna say-
Domino's hit me up already.
Domino's already heard
Yeah,
you.
your coupons are already on their way. So yeah, that's why I said the privacy argument is out the window unless you want to go, in the middle of. I keep on saying how, under a rock, basically.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go under a rock and dig a hole and say, I do not want to use any technology. The most people who are may have some privacy are probably Amish at this point. And even they are getting penetrated by phones and whatnot. Their whole culture is. But still, they probably have the most privacy. So unless you want to go that, horse and buggy, don't expect any privacy.
Or use a VPN everywhere.
Still, you can, but it's so much work that you have to do that our lives, we are not willing to do that. We go for convenience.
Yep.
True.
We trump our freedom over convenience.
Yeah.
So I do it all the time. Every time, totally different topic. Police pulls you over and they ask for your license. You've seen those videos. You can do that, argue it, and spend about 30 minutes and 50 minutes there, or you can just pull your driving license out and say, here, just give me whatever warning ticket, whatever you want to. I'm going.
And
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
on
going
my
to
way.
go eat pizza, and pizza I'm gonna have these many toppings. What else you want to know? You know what I mean? So you do that at that point. Yes, I gave up my right. I gave up my freedom. For the convenience of just going wherever I'm going. So
Yep.
technology is such that it's gonna is how much you want to give up, and for how much convenience you want.
Yeah. Well, guys, appreciate the discussion. Obviously, we hit a lot of different topics. 5. I was expecting to go through all of them, but luckily we were able to get through it.
Made it through a bunch of them.
Yeah. And I hope you guys enjoyed I hope you guys enjoyed the bridge video. That was the one I was curious if you guys seen it
Yeah,
yet.
that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. I love the underwater bridge and be able to see.
Yeah, that's cool.
The sea.
The only thing underwater thing that got me on that was, are those fish real?
Didn't look like it.
You know, I mean, they were too uniform. They were too perfect.
Someone's
None of
gotta
them, none of
someone's
them
gotta
had a
research
like.
that.
So you're expecting the shark to.
I was expecting, I was expecting, them to be not that.
They could do a clear one over the Detroit River. You just wouldn't see anything.
Yeah.
That's what I say. You on a Detroit, you probably see a fish with a third eye on the tail.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Get your pop cans.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to give us a like, comment, share. Don't forget to subscribe. And we hope that you join us next time here on The Next Move.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, when you share, you can share it with your colleagues and who like the tech talk in a casual way. We're not professional podcasters. We're just, like you mentioned last time, we're just talking what we talked about on our breakfast meetings monthly. And that's what we're doing. And none of these are scripted. We're just reacting to the news and the bulletin points that are what's happening now. And that being said, we'll see you next time.
Thank you.